Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm the next aviator in the chute. Brigadier General Wally Rugen, Director of Future Vertical Lift CFT, and Deputy Commanding General for support out at 7th Infantry Division. I'm hoping that you all saw the pitch this morning, either this morning or at AUSA on our strategic roadmap, and so I'm going to stop talking and take questions. Next slide, too. Go ahead.
Hi, sir. I'm Pat Host from Janes. I'm over here on your right. Thanks. When do you expect the RFP for FVL Capability Set 1 to come out?
I think, again, we are moving the requirements process fast. I don't think we're going to use an RFP. I think we're going to be outside of 5000.02 for speed. And when I can share that stuff, I will. But as you all know, this summit is almost a couple months too early based on our cycle. In the building, and so we got to lay everything flat in the building, and then we'll be communicating aggressively. But we got great momentum, and we got really good support going forward.
Do you still plan to use an RFP for Capability Set 3?
I believe so, yes.
All right, thank you.
Hello again. Courtney
Hello.
McBride, inside the Army. Back in March, General Rugen, you said there were 2 ICDs headed to the Vice for approval, one on aviation weapon systems and munitions, and the other kind of more broadly related to UAS.
Right.
Wondering if you can give us an update on that and any other ICDs that may be headed his way. Or
So AUSA seems like it was yesterday, but I know it was a couple weeks. We've had it back for some corrections, and we're making those corrections and sending it back in. But it is outside of my, it's above my headquarters now, in that kind of second layer just before the Vice. So again, we're seeing that 12-layer delayering happen. So we got some feedback, and we're making the corrections, kicking it back up. Nope. Again, we're doing things. So Courtney asked am I waiting to do something else? No, we are working multiple things in parallel across all 4 lines of effort, and the staff has been very agile. I got a great team. I think, again, just to hit on the talent management, I got great folks working for me across all those categories that we talked about this morning. And we are turning and burning quickly.
Hi, Jen Judson with
Hey, Jen.
Defense News. I wanted to ask, are you, in terms of referring to what you're doing in the future, are you getting away from referring to capability sets for the future aircraft?
No.
Should we be focusing
No.
on what you have up here, or
No,
how do we look at that?
I think we have some new leaders, and so they're comfortable with names, but we're comfortable. For those guys that have been doing this for a while, we're very comfortable with a synonym. They're synonyms. So the Future Attack Reconnaissance Aircraft is CAPESAT 1. We're senior leaders. By giving it the capability and descriptive in nature, it's been easy to digest and just bounce it around the building and have everybody have kind of the understanding of what this means. CAPESAT, we were just finding it was confusing, but no, same. We have not changed. Again, the multi-service approach that has put a lot of rigor into this process for a long time, and even if you talk to some of the guys that have been in the 90s, I mean, we've been looking at this for a long time. We're not changing that. No.
You're probably not going to like this question.
No, that's okay.
But can you give me the pros and cons, as you're thinking about how you proceed in terms of procuring an ARA first or an FLRAA first?
Well, so, and this is, sometimes I use the word false choice. To me, we have over a decade. And if you look at the schedule that's out there on the future long-range assault aircraft, it's a quite routine, typical aircraft schedule. We're right of MDD, and the MDA is at OSD. And so to me, I look at that as, well, there's opportunity before that if we sequence it right. So it's not a chance, or it's not a prioritization thing, it's where we find opportunity first. And so if we wait to do another just very typical capability development, then we're looking at in the 30s on this, and that was not my charge. My charge was this decade for all the CFTs. So the Secretary told us, hey, this decade, do it. So we look for opportunity in there, but that's not a prioritization comment. It's not a comment on the prioritization, it's just where we're at. Most of my CFT, or really all the CFT authorities are optimized left of MDD. That's where I have, the most. And so think JMRTD, think that agility that the military and the industry showed in doing something that was kind of in that S&T and RDT&E realm. We look to really jump on that because it gives us the speed we want. But it's not a prioritization thing, and I know I said that 3 or 4 times, but it really is not. That's where the opportunity is.
And just to follow up, are you saying that, at least with your CFT, that you are looking at procuring an aircraft, for either ARA or FLRAA or both, or one, within 10 years, rather than looking at the 2030 as the benchmark goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Brian Harper, Mercer Engineering Research Center. Can you talk about the kind of the challenges with the trade-off of wanting to have industry investment in these platforms versus the desire to also own enough of the tech data to do future work organically on this effort?
Yeah, I think that's a fine line, right? And that gets into some significant legal, advice and legal positions that, honestly, I'd love to say that I was an expert on that. I'm not. What we are doing, though, is we have that in with our teams, and we are studying that very deeply to understand where we cross the line, where we've kind of taken that logistics tail, that sustainment tail, and just made it harder because the cost share piece allowed us to kind of sell away our rights. And so it's going to be a very nuanced approach, a balanced approach, because we like both of those aspects, and we want to maximize both of them without hurting either of them. So I know that's kind of a non-answer, but it's something that has to have serious study and be right. And we are.
Thank you.
Yep. You let me off easy. I'm General Tate. We got one. We'll get you a mic.
Good afternoon, Senator John
Afternoon.
Stout, JHNA. A question regarding your 4 tasks that are up there. The 4th task is MOSA, Modular Open Systems
Right.
Approach. Do you see that eventually becoming a system or a series of programs? How do you see that transitioning to the actual acquisition core? Thank you.
I think the capstone that we're doing in 2020 under the JMR Tech Demonstrator Program is going to be very, very informative to me. Like I talked to you about earlier today, I think we have a very solid concept, but we also don't want to, because this is new, and innovative, and it's what we really truly need to get that leap ahead, the 3X, 4X, 5X, whatever, that, again, I don't think we're settled on anything yet. We have to talk to experts like you and across industry, academia, and just really understand how to deepen our interoperability in this space, right? And not get it wrong, because it has to give us that speed. It has to give us the hardened structure as well, the survivability structure. And however we do that, it's going to be important to get it right.
Sorry. Open for it to be multiple technologies, not just one program for.
I think it's got to be it's got to be on the operational level and the system level. It's got to be. It's bigger than just the aircraft or the iPhone. It's got to be, and that's tough. I mean, it's a tough vision to attain, but we got some of our best on it. And let me just comment too. You know, as we did our program review since December, worked very hard in the S&T realm. I think we saw a lot of those investments flow into this area. Some of it are human-machine interface area, which is the cognitive offloading piece, and the autonomy piece that gets into the MUM-T or the advanced teaming piece. So we really sat down with our partners across all the decks, but predominantly AMRDEC, and really refined what our best and brightest minds are looking at, and really put some laser focus on it. And I tell you, I think we were in with the under at least 4 times on that. And so the rigor at the senior level was there too, to just get this right and not wait another turn, because it is going to be such a hard task.
Yes, sir. Ben Miller from Lockheed Martin. Just one follow-up to the question the gentleman had. What would be your words of wisdom or advice to industry with regard to investment, given the uncertainty about the data rights position that you hope to have in the future?
I think we'll communicate it. Once we're ready, we'll communicate it. I think we absolutely, in future documents, be they BAAs or RPPs or RFPs, we will communicate the appropriate bogeys on price points, cost per hour, and the cost sharing. So those will be very upfront, but we do have to study it, because it's not a linear problem. You know, as you all know that have been around this for a while, this is a very legally intensive question, and the Army has to get it right. But we also want that partnership with you that we saw so effectively in the GMR program, where the industry had significant skin in the game, and it brought this capability so much quicker than we've seen in the past. And so we're informed by that. We want to reinforce that, but we don't want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg either. We want our depots to be able to do the depot work that we need done, and we don't want to lose the data rights to be able to do that. So I wish I could give you more, but honestly, I'm not the expert, but I'm studying it at night, and we got our best on it.
Afternoon, Brigadier.
Good to see you, Jack.
I wonder if you could verbalize, like an office diagram of the offices that will be underneath you in the CFT. Then secondly, specifically, will you have your own KO staff, or will you be dependent upon like Redstone ACC? And then lastly, since there's already a Title X project manager for FVL established, do you envision yourself being co-located with him, or him moving to your location?
So the location question, I'll kind of take these in reverse. The location question is pre-decisional, and I think you saw some of the most recent media that the Army's put out. We will follow Futures Command on that decision. So fortunately, I can't really answer that now. but we're working hard on staffing to be at the place that gives us the most bang for the buck when it comes to the speed of discovery, innovation, and the speed of delivery to the field. The KO piece, I will tell you that that'll be a matrixed person. Our KO is already on our team, and we're working. So we're forming teams that maybe won't be, heavily drawn, hardcore lines where I'm the rater, the senior rater, and all that, because at the end of the day, they bring, we get to tap into the whole Army Contracting Command. If I just had one person, it becomes kind of a single point of failure. And it's funny you say that. So, our current KO is on leave. We're tapping right back into ACC, and they're giving us something, because what you have to understand is, not everything's a priority that's going to get prioritized treatment. These are the priorities for this CFT. And so we got much more agility when it comes to the priority. And I think I missed one of them. Well, the program manager, again, that gets into the location piece, but I will tell you that the program managers, again, we have to follow Title 10, right, until that changes. And so when you think about this, and you think about the aviation enterprise and the six-pack, when you think about what we've done in the past at TAPO, and just that very solid team of teams, that there's very little space between anybody, we are replicating or already have replicated that. And so whether it's a matrix line or a solid line, I don't think General Gaylor, Gabram, Todd, none of them care. We're all talking every week. We're making sure that the priorities are met. If there's a need, none of us wait, to get after it. And I have a call every week outside of the six-pack call with General Todd. Every week we're doing that call just to level the bubbles and make sure that we keep our acquisition tasks, moving as fast as they possibly can.
Sir, senior leaders have talked about the fact that the CFTs still have some requirements that may not be addressed in the budget, even with a plus up, suggesting that there may be a need for reprogramming. I'm wondering, with respect to the FVL CFT, are there opportunities for agility, for acceleration, as you've talked about, that you'd be able to tackle given more funding?
We've identified those, and we've enjoyed great marks, which has given us a head start, honestly, for 18. And we thank the Congress for that. I mean, it's really helped us out. For 19, again, we're communicating to OSD and to the Hill in the process, using the process that's there to communicate what our needs are, and basically going through the chain of command and asking for permission to, just sync up our investment accounts. So we're using the mechanisms that are the typical ones in a BTR, ATR, and using those. Whether they're approved or not, that's not at my level, obviously. That is the legislative branch, and they'll either approve or disapprove of our plan. But we are in the process of communicating that. We have an Army position, and that's moving through the system. Okay, well, Dave, you're laughing at me, man. Come on. I'm dying up here, No, thanks for coming. We'll hang around here for a couple, 3 minutes if you want to come up, since I am ahead of time. If you want to come up and ask a question, come on up. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great summit. Stay safe.